They said it was impossible, that the legendary saga of Grand Theft Auto had outdone itself so many times before. There was no way to top the thrills, the spectacle, and the sheer audacity of Rockstar Games' creation. Yet here we stand, facing rumors that a massive internal overhaul has shaken the very foundations of what we believe Grand Theft Auto can be. Did you ever think you would hear that GTA 6 might involve an elaborate prison break, a cunning infiltration of a Russian drug smuggling operation, and a series of heart-stopping heists planned from a secretive nightclub called Vault? Buckle up, because today's deep dive is all about the stories swirling around two unexpected protagonists, Jason and Lucia, as they navigate a Vice City that has been reimagined in breathtaking detail. What's really going on with these new leaks? And how does Rockstar's rumored release delay to late May of 2026 play into the chaos? In this episode, we will peel back the layers on the biggest questions swirling around GTA 6. We will figure out exactly how the rumored plane smuggling missions feed into the Russian storyline. We will examine how Lucia's prison ordeal might set the tone for one of the game's most dramatic narrative arcs. And we will decode the cryptic references to a fifth chapter rumored to be in the dreaded development hell. So many swirling rumors, yet some of them have been corroborated by more than one insider source. Which ones can we trust, and which ones are just clever fan fiction? In this mind-blowing exploration, we will dig into supposedly scrapped ideas that were deemed too dark to make it into the final release, discuss the enormous hype now that a second official trailer has given fans fresh glimpses of Vice City, and even talk about a rumor that we might be able to roam the streets with custom tunes, though that, sadly, seems to have been debunked. There is so much ground to cover, especially with the way Grand Theft Auto 6 might borrow a chapter-based narrative style straight out of Red Dead Redemption 2. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, let's talk about that heart-stopping introduction of the new storyline. Imagine a blistering scene. Jason, a tough young street operator, has found himself at the center of a vastly complicated operation, linking everything from local robberies to high-level narcotics distribution in the city's seedy underbelly. He has learned through cryptic means that Lucia, an enigmatic criminal who has earned a fearsome reputation despite her short tenure in Vice City, has been locked up somewhere far outside the usual containment zones. There are hushed rumors in back-alley bars that she's connected to big players who have even bigger interests in keeping her locked away. Some believe she has knowledge of a high-stakes drug route that could make or break entire crime syndicates. Others suggest she was framed because she fell out of favor with an unknown benefactor. The only certain thing? Jason needs her on his team if he hopes to pull off the kind of heist that only a Rockstar Games storyline could dream up. Suddenly, we get a sense that the entire narrative might revolve around them. Two outlaws on a collision course with a carefully orchestrated plan that will either free them from the shackles of petty crime or drag them deeper into a world they cannot escape. You can almost feel the tension as we wonder, how does someone like Jason even begin to stage a jailbreak for someone as fierce as Lucia? And more importantly, who stands to gain or lose from bringing her back onto the streets of Vice City? But let's rewind a moment, because the rumor mill has been in overdrive about something else: the Russians. According to certain sources that have garnered a reputation for accurate leaks, GTA 6 might feature a storyline in which an influential Russian drug lord sets the stage for multiple missions. Imagine the classic scenario: a plane, loaded with illicit goods, secretly lands at a remote airstrip just beyond the neon glow of Vice City. Jason is instructed to follow the plane without drawing attention, leading him through a labyrinth of side roads and abandoned warehouses. The stakes get even higher when the Russians realize they are not as under the radar as they had hoped. They face sabotage from rival gangs, double crosses from inside their operation, and perhaps even infiltration from the local authorities, who are rumored to be corrupt enough to tip off whichever side is waving the biggest wad of cash. Now, in typical Grand Theft Auto fashion, it's not enough just to tail a plane. The rumor is that the Russians become a central factor in Jason's life afterward, serving as a big mission-giving faction once the initial encounter with their smuggled cargo goes sideways. This mirrors older leaks from the year 2023, which claimed that a major storyline would involve intercepting drug shipments that end up lost at sea, creating frantic underwater salvage missions that we, as players, would have to undertake. Just picture it: a midnight raid gone wrong, contraband flung off the back of a boat in the middle of an ocean storm, and our protagonists desperately trying to track it down before another criminal enterprise gets there first. That type of tension-laced scenario fits seamlessly into the known Grand Theft Auto formula of big stakes and bigger personalities. If you can imagine wacky side characters adding comedic relief, like a flamboyant arms dealer or a conspiracy-obsessed pilot who swears that large swaths of Vice City are monitored by government satellites, then you have a sense of the flavor that Rockstar might introduce. The question is how these rumored missions tie into the game's overall progression. Fans have been dissecting the possibility that Grand Theft Auto 6 will adopt a chapter-based structure similar to Red Dead Redemption 2. If that's the case, each chapter could represent a shift not only in the protagonist's geography, but also in their moral or strategic approach. One chapter might see Jason and Lucia just scraping by, taking any job the Russians throw at them, while another could highlight a fully formed partnership planning a massive heist out of a glitzy nightclub known as Vault. This rumored club is said to be more than just a flashy dance hall. The hush-hush whispers indicate that entire break-ins and elaborate robberies are planned from a luxurious lounge in the back, hidden from the prying eyes of law enforcement and unsuspecting partygoers jamming to the city's hottest beats. Imagine the iconic neon lights of Vice City dancing off the polished floors of this so-called vault. Picture the swirling disco fog as clubgoers spill expensive champagne across the VIP area, oblivious to the hushed negotiations unfolding in a smoke-filled corner. The camera pans to a private booth, separated by tinted glass. That is where the real players talk business, exchanging coded words that only the initiated can decipher. Plans for the next job are pinned to a digital map of the city, with red lines tracing every route of approach and golden X marks indicating infiltration points. You can almost smell the adrenaline. And from what the leaks suggest, it's not even the main event. It is merely one step in a long chain of daring missions, culminating in something truly epic involving the Russians, or possibly another faction that has yet to be revealed. However, keep in mind that the narrative is rumored to be very elaborate in its structure. A well-known insider claims that the 5th chapter is languishing in what they call development hell. Why? We can only speculate. Perhaps Rockstar is wrestling with how dark they can make the storyline without losing the fun factor that has defined Grand Theft Auto for decades. Or maybe they are reworking major plot lines to align with the leak that the original story was too grim for mainstream audiences. Remember those whispers that the initial scenario was filled with unrelenting violence and moral ambiguity? It might be that the creative team decided a pivot was needed to keep the heart and humor of the series intact. After all, Grand Theft Auto has always walked that tightrope between gritty realism and over-the-top spectacle. On one hand, you can mow down entire neighborhoods, but on the other, you'll laugh at the ridiculous commentary spouted by chatty pedestrians or talk radio hosts. Stray too far into bleak territory, and you might alienate loyal fans who come for the comedic cynicism as much as the criminal escapades. So, if rumors are true, Rockstar is putting an extraordinary amount of effort into balancing these tones in each chapter. Now, let us talk about Trailer 2, which apparently exploded onto the internet not so long ago, captivating fans with almost 100 brand new screenshots. People have spotted everything from a newly designed jet ski, complete with next-generation lighting effects, to a potential cameo by a fan-favorite character from the series' storied past. The biggest revelation, however, might be the glimpses of Lucia inside a city jail. Some fans claim you can see her being escorted down a dimly lit corridor, flanked by stoic guards, who seem more than a little afraid of her. This lines up eerily well with the rumor that one of Jason's early missions, or perhaps a transitional storyline, will be busting her out of that very facility. If it is true, and we get to orchestrate a prison break in Grand Theft Auto 6, that alone would catapult the game to new heights of criminal cinematic flair. Imagine assembling a ragtag team of specialists on the outside, a demolitions expert, a hacker who can sabotage security systems, and maybe a crooked guard with a hidden grudge. Then, just when you think you've got a handle on the plan, the Russians might catch wind of it, seeing an opportunity to manipulate the situation to their advantage. Tension soars. Will they sell out Jason's plan to a rival gang? Will they blackmail him for a bigger cut of the profits from future heists? The possibilities are endless, and that, my friends, is what makes these leaks so compelling. If you are as intrigued as I am about this rumor-fueled world of Vice City's underbelly, feel free to show a little support by dropping a thumbs up. After all, when we get to the real heart of the matter, it is the community's passion that keeps these discussions alive. The more we dig, the closer we get to separating fact from fiction and ensuring that every new tidbit about GTA 6 sparks exactly the kind of excitement Rockstar probably hopes to deliver. But let's not skip over the heartbreak. Some fans are beside themselves about a certain detail that may have been cut from the final game design: the ability to play music outside of cars. The rumor was that Rockstar might let players incorporate music into all sorts of mischief, from street shootouts to chaotic getaways, by turning any open-world space into a personal dance floor. Admittedly, the idea of striding through Vice City's neon-lit sidewalks while your personal soundtrack plays is pretty enticing, but according to GameRoll's alleged updates, that feature might have been scrapped or toned down. Some fans argued that such a feature wouldn't feel right in the gritty environment Rockstar thrives on. Others said it would have been a game changer. It is hard to say who is right, but either way, those rumors stirred the pot enough to get everyone buzzing about what other features might be missing or modified. That is the double-edged sword of being a Grand Theft Auto fan. On one hand, excitement bubbles over with each new rumor or leaked screenshot. On the other hand, for every thrilling possibility, there is the crushing disappointment when a beloved, rumored feature fails to make the final cut. Yet, the conversation rarely stops. Fans dissect every trailer frame by frame, searching for clues about potential settings, cameo appearances, and gameplay mechanics. They form online groups to track rumors, compare them to known Rockstar patterns, and draw up entire spreadsheets trying to predict how big the game's map might be. Now, let us pivot to one of the bigger bombshells. Rockstar itself announced that GTA 6 would face a delay until May 26, 2026. It's not the first time the company has shuffled its release window, but for fans who were hoping to see the next installment earlier, this announcement stung. Yet the blow was softened by the release of that second trailer and the nearly 100 mesmerizing screenshots that tease just how expansive Vice City's redesign might be. Some of these screenshots have given fans a glimpse of the surrounding Bay Area, with lush swamps, hidden coves, and possibly even underwater tunnels. Rumor has it that the ocean floor could play a major role, tying into the storyline about losing cargo at sea. If that's true, expect some of the missions to revolve around scuba diving gear, submersible vehicles, and perhaps run-ins with not-so-friendly marine predators. It's a far cry from the simpler days of GTA 3, when stepping into the water was practically a death sentence due to game limitations. Interestingly, the infiltration of the Russian faction might be the storyline's bridging link to these watery escapades. Picture this scenario. In a bid to prove his worth, Jason is tasked with retrieving contraband that spilled off a cargo plane during a thunderstorm. The goods have sunk to the ocean floor. Lucia has just re-entered the fold after her dramatic prison breakout, each step she takes overshadowed by the uneasy knowledge that the Russian drug lord might have orchestrated part of her incarceration. We might see friction between them as each tries to maintain their independence, not quite trusting the other, but also recognizing a shared need to manipulate the criminal power structures in Vice City. That tension itself could make for an explosive narrative that hooks players for hours on end. But how does the public fit into all this? The out-of-game community has come to life, dissecting every morsel of alleged information that surfaces. They are discussing the potential synergy between Jason and Lucia. Could they, for instance, share a set of unique co-op skills, with Lucia being a master at infiltration, while Jason has dogfighting and vehicle theft down to a science? Will we see them recruit additional team members, like a sly demolitions artist or a reformed pilot with a shady past, to execute large-scale missions collectively? Do not forget the possibility that each chapter might split the story so we get to play from different angles, illustrating the hidden agendas of each faction. Imagine a scenario where you briefly assume the role of one of the Russian enforcers, providing deeper insight into the moral quandaries they face. Another fascinating angle the rumor mill churned out is the notion that Grand Theft Auto 6 might feature a more dynamic set of relationships with NPCs. Some have speculated that building alliances or rivalries with certain characters could drastically alter the mission flow or the type of missions that become available as the story progresses. There might be entire heists locked away behind your rapport with a certain faction. Could refusing to collaborate with the Russians early in the game block a crucial opportunity later on? Or might the game allow you to pursue a more independent approach that sidesteps these dangerous partnerships altogether? Then, of course, there is Grand Theft Auto Online. If the leaks hold any truth, it might host sessions of significantly larger player counts than Grand Theft Auto 5. Some even hypothesize that entire neighborhoods or business fronts could be run by groups of players, effectively turning the online mode into a sprawling crime ecosystem. Is that too ambitious? Possibly. But Grand Theft Auto Online has consistently broken barriers, so the idea of a real-time criminal marketplace run by actual players isn't out of the question. Given how layered the rumored single-player storyline already is, prison breaks, infiltration, recovered cargo, cunning Russians, and more, one can only imagine how these elements might translate to the online component. Could we see entire communities forming alliances, setting up their own drug routes, or even clashing over the territory necessary to import goods successfully? If you are getting goosebumps at the thought of a fully fleshed-out online empire-building sandbox, you are not alone. Now, if the game truly does come out in late May of 2026, we have time to let our imaginations run wild. With each new rumor, we ask ourselves whether these details are intentionally teased by Rockstar to gauge public reception, or if they are genuine leaks from insiders who can't resist sharing the excitement. We do know that the studio famously guards its secrets, so any real leaks signifying major changes, like the rumored removal of certain intense story arcs, might reflect ongoing creative discussions behind the scenes. One intriguing nugget that ignites speculation is the statement about the original narrative being too dark. Grand Theft Auto is no stranger to gritty or violent themes, and we have witnessed some seriously twisted characters in past installments. So, for Rockstar to apparently consider a storyline too dark suggests they may have been treading into territory that even they felt was excessive. Perhaps the existence of a second protagonist, Lucia, is partly a response to this. She might bring a distinct perspective that sheds light on empathy, survival, or redemption, providing a necessary counterweight to the otherwise bleak, comedic cynicism the series is known for. Maybe the creative team wants to ensure that this game still resonates with the broader audience who love Grand Theft Auto for its mixture of gritty crime action and satirical humor. All of this is to say, the web of rumors about Grand Theft Auto 6 is as tangled as any storyline Rockstar could write. And that exactly is the reason people cannot stop talking about it. Every new piece of alleged intel either reaffirms old leaks or challenges them, building hype in leaps and bounds. It might feel overwhelming, but that is part of the thrill. Fans want to speculate, to hope that the final result will be the ultimate open-world crime game, and to reassure themselves that the extended wait until May of 2026 will be worth it when they finally load up that first mission and see Vice City in all its next-generation glory. Speaking of which, if you are dying to follow every twist and turn of these developments, consider hitting that subscribe button here. You never know when another insider might drop a new screenshot or a snippet hinting at how the Russians become mission givers, or how exactly we are going to break Lucia out of that heavily guarded prison. Who wants to miss the next bombshell that might land in the rumor mill? Sure, not all leaks end up panning out. Some might be elaborate hoaxes or early ideas that never make it to the final game. But historically, Grand Theft Auto leaks have often contained kernels of truth that later become cornerstones of the actual release. Whether it is the visuals of the city, the mechanics of carjacking, or deeper story beats about the main characters, we have seen time and again that the real version often aligns with early hints more than one might expect. The key difference is that Rockstar polishes it to an astronomical sheen by launch day, making the official product even more impressive than the rumor-based prototypes it has concocted in their minds. So, let's imagine how the story might progress based on what we already suspect. Jason and Lucia, having formed an uneasy alliance, realize that infiltration of high-security facilities has become second nature to them after their prison escapades. With desperation fueling them, they target an enormous haul, rumored to be enough to retire on if they can secure it. But the Russians, aware of their ambitions, hold a trump card that forces the duo to collaborate. This sets the stage for tension-laden missions where double-cross is only a whispered conversation away. One moment, Lucy might be calibrating a disruptor device that kills power to a secure warehouse, while Jason silently dispatches guards in the darkness. The next, they find themselves celebrating in the back room of Vault with champagne, only to discover that half the earnings have mysteriously vanished. Did the Russians swipe it, or was there yet another faction waiting in the wings? Such a scenario could lead us right into an explosive final act, possibly that rumored fifth chapter, where the wheels come off the operation, forcing the characters into an all-or-nothing gambit. If Rockstar truly is struggling with how to conclude the storyline, it is likely because they want to do it in a way that sets the stage for GTA Online expansions, while also giving single-player fans the cinematic closure they crave. It is a delicate balance, especially with so many character arcs in motion. Which brings us back to the point that some leaks point to a big mission fiasco on the open waters, reminiscent of the grand set pieces we have seen in earlier titles but now magnified for the modern console generation. Could it be that the final stand occurs offshore, with a multifaceted heist culminating in a rooftop chase on a luxury yacht? Or maybe it all goes down in the high-rise towers of Vice City's financial district as the Russians orchestrate the ultimate betrayal? We cannot say for certain, but if even half of these rumors are on track, Grand Theft Auto 6 is poised to shake the very foundations of open-world gaming. The inclusion of memorable side characters, the interplay of comedic banter with heartbreakingly dramatic arcs, and the sheer scale of what fans anticipate might make it a defining release. Rockstar has a knack for dropping jaws with every new iteration, even when fans think they have seen it all. We are over the moon with anticipation. But the real question is, how much of this rumor-driven narrative will survive till launch day? Certainly, we will keep unraveling every clue, but until Rockstar gives us more official details, the best we can do is piece together the puzzle from the glimpses they let slip, and from insiders who may or may not be operating with outdated info. Still, this has not stopped the community from dreaming big, from constructing entire timelines of how missions might progress, and from holding on to hope that we will eventually be able to savor every twisted, neon-soaked inch of Vice City's new era. And that, dear viewer, is the tangled tapestry of Rockstar's biggest project to date, where prison breaks collide with cataclysmic drug deals, neon nightclubs conceal high-stakes heist planning, and unscrupulous factions jostle for power on the storm-tossed seas. If you are as enthralled by these revelations as I am, go ahead and let me know you are on board. We will continue to scour every corner of the criminal underworld, in Vice City and beyond, until the truth behind GTA 6 is finally unearthed.